You know, one single day can change absolutely everything. It can put the entire global system, we're talking geopolitics, we're talking your personal finances, right on a knife's edge. And today, we're going to break down one of those days.
The day was Monday, March 2nd, 2026. For millions of people, it probably started just like any other day. But you know, by the time the markets opened, the world was already reeling from a weekend that had set it on a brand new, very dangerous course.
And this was the justification that echoed all around the world. Speaking on Monday, President Trump framed this huge military action not as a choice but as a dire necessity. He was basically signaling a conflict that could last for weeks, or as he put it, maybe even far longer than that.
So what exactly happened? Let's dive in and break down the spark that really ignited this global firestorm.
It was just a stunningly rapid escalation. I mean, over just 48 hours, the whole thing exploded from a coordinated strike on Iran, which, by the way, killed its supreme leader, into a full-blown regional war. Iran fired back, Israel hit targets in Lebanon, and by Monday morning, the entire region was just holding its breath for what was coming next.
And this is the choke point that turns a regional war into a global crisis, the Strait of Hormuz. The second an Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander announced it was closed, bam, 1/5 of the entire world's daily oil supply was suddenly at risk.
So you can guess what happened next, right? The reaction in the financial world was instantaneous and, well, it was brutal. It sent a shockwave across the entire globe. No surprise here, oil was the first domino to fall. Brent crude, that's the global benchmark, it shot up over 9%. It hit nearly $80 a barrel and immediately sparked fears of a brand new wave of global inflation.
And when fear takes over, you know where investors run? They run for safety. Gold, the classic safe haven asset, it surged. The price for a single troy ounce shot past $5,400. It's a textbook flight to security when things get this uncertain.
And this panic wasn't isolated. Oh no. Markets from Asia to Europe opened deep in the red. Japan's Nikkei, Europe's Stoxx 600, you name it. It was a global sea of red as investors just started dumping stocks.
And right here in the US, the sell-off was just as sharp. At its absolute worst point on Monday morning, the Dow had plunged nearly 600 points. And the question on everyone's mind was, okay, how much further can this thing fall?
Okay, so this is where it gets real. Because this kind of global chaos, it doesn't just stay on the trading floors. It hits your life and it hits your wallet fast.
The immediate effects were everywhere. We're talking thousands of flights grounded. Major international hubs like Dubai and Doha were paralyzed. Travelers were left stranded. And to make things even worse, they discovered this painful little truth in the fine print. Your standard travel insurance doesn't cover acts of war. Back at home, the fear of war-fueled inflation immediately slammed the housing market. Just when homebuyers were seeing a little glimmer of hope with rates dipping below 6%, they shot right back up to 6.12%. It was this sharp, totally unwelcome reversal that basically slammed the door on affordability for a lot of people. And to compound all that economic anxiety, other financial worries that were already there were just thrown into sharp relief. Like the future of the Save Student Loan Plan, for example, it was just totally in limbo. For its 7 million borrowers, it was just one more layer of uncertainty on an already chaotic day. But here's the thing. While all eyes were glued to the Middle East, a completely different kind of power struggle was escalating in the world of technology, a conflict over the entire future of artificial intelligence.
And this just shows you the huge split in the AI world. On one side, you have Anthropic, clashing with the Pentagon over ethics and finding itself blacklisted as a national security risk. And on the other side, you have Nvidia just doubling down, investing a massive $4 billion to build the next generation of AI hardware.
And the strategic moves came thick and fast. I mean, just hours after Anthropic was out, its rival, OpenAI, was in, striking a deal with the Pentagon. Nvidia's CEO declared this new mission to build massive AI factories. And Starlink announced a huge partnership in Europe. This was a massive power play, all happening in the shadow of a global crisis. But then, back in the markets, something totally unexpected happened. Just when it seemed like things couldn't possibly get any worse, the narrative took this absolutely shocking turn.
This right here, this was the story of the day in a single chart. The S&P 500 plunged more than 1.2% at its low point, only to stage this massive comeback and close almost exactly where it started. It was a wild reversal. So what on earth happened?
Well, some analysts, like Jeff Kilberg, they saw the morning panic not as a reason to sell, but as a huge opportunity to buy. The thing was basically that the initial fear was a total overreaction, and that the underlying strength of the market would eventually win out.
And this incredible rebound, it was fueled by a really specific set of factors. First, oil prices pulled back from their peaks, which calmed those inflation fears. Then, investors rushed back into the perceived safety of big, cash-rich tech companies. Of course, defense stocks surged on the expectation of more conflict, and crucially, a lot of seasoned traders bet on a historical pattern that markets often shape off these geopolitical shocks surprisingly fast.
Which brings us to our final, really critical question. The market stared right into the abyss of a major new war and, within a matter of hours, just shrugged it off. In a world that feels like it's lurching from one crisis to the next, is that a sign of incredible resilience, or is it a very dangerous form of denial?